Good morning children. Welcome again. We start with the NCERT Political Science Chapter 3. Why do we need a parliament? Why do we need a parliament? Now in the previous chapters we have studied about how the elections are conducted and elections are needed for forming a government to represent the people's idea and the people's views. Therefore, people that you elect would be representing your ideas and views in the parliament at the national level and form the parliament. And this parliament comprises of two houses, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, that we will discuss later in detail. So the basic concept is, why do we need a parliament? Why do we need it? So parliament basically presents an idea, the people's views and ideas. It all started with the rise of nationalism, that is during the time of independence freedom movement. In 1885, the Indian National Congress was formed and demanded that there must be an elected members in the parliament who can take the decisions and who can take the part and form the parliament, and they have the right to discuss the budget and ask the questions in the legislature. So in 1909, a Government of India Act was also allowed for some elected representatives, that is immediately before the independence of the country. That is after 1947, the expression of the faith of the people of India having the principles of democracy. So after 1947, after independence, we have made our country, that is India, as a democratic country. So where the constitutions of principles of universal adult franchise, that is all the adults can vote, that is who has attained 18 years of age can vote, that is called as universal adult franchise, that is the people's participation in the process of election and formation of the parliament. It is a decision of the people who creates a democratic government and decides about its functioning. So the government as well as the public institutions need to have the trust of their citizens. So under the colonial rule, people lived in a fear of British rule. They learned that they must need for freedom, equality and participation in decision making, as well as the government had to be sensitive to the people's needs and demands. So here starts the question, why do we need the parliament? Why should the parliament is important? The parliament is a supreme lawmaking body which is made up of all the representatives from the states together and control and guide the government. In this sense, the people through their chosen representatives form the government and also control it. Then what is the role of the parliament? How is parliament is formed? So I told you that elections are the process to elect our representatives. So our country is a vast country with 29 states, and each state is divided into districts, and each district has so many parts, that is divisions, and each division is concerned as a constituency. So what is a constituency? An electoral district or territorial subdivision for holding elections to a legislative body. So that is a constituency. So each constituency, that is the country is divided into numerous constituencies. Each of these constituencies elects one person as their representative for the parliament, and the candidates who consent election usually belongs to different political parties. So as we know that different political parties, we have national parties and regional parties. Now national parties like BJP, that is Bharatiya Janata Party, and Congress Party, and you have different national parties, and regional parties we have in different states. So these political parties will elect one representative from each constituency, and these are elected in the parliament and become the members of the parliament, that is MPs, and these MPs together form a parliament. So now, what is a parliament? What are the functions of a parliament? The parliament is formed by various MPs. And what are the functions of the parliament? As I already told you that the fundamental function of the parliament is lawmaking. So first one is to select a national government, So the parliament, what is another name of parliament? That is Sansad. Sansad, we call it as Sansad, and the parliament has 3 party is to form the government, and the majority of the elected MPs will make the government. So in this Lok Sabha, that is we call it as the lower house and the house of the people, we have the speaker as the head of the, that is the chairman of the Sabha, that is assembly, and 545 elected representatives will be there. That is from each state, from each constituency, we will elect 545 elected representatives to form the parliament. So its term is 5 years. After 5 years, again the general elections will be conducted, and again the Lok Sabha will be formed. Okay. So Lok Sabha is a lower house. Next, upper house is the Council of States. Each state will have a council, and they will be nominating the members. So total 250 members will be there, and 233 will be elected representatives, and 12 will be nominated by the President of India. And its term is 6 years, and all the bills will be approved only in Rajya Sabha, then only it will go to the Lok Sabha. But only money bill regarding the states will be approved in the Lok Sabha. So every 2 years, once every 2 years, 1/3 of the members will retire in the Rajya Sabha. Next, the Prime Minister will be the leader of the Lok Sabha, that is the ruling party leader, and he will elect the executive, that is a group of persons who will have to implement the laws made by the parliament. Next, the coalition government. What is a coalition government? Coalition government means more number of political parties after the elections, they will join and made one strong party. If the majority party is not so strong, it is difficult to form the government. So what happens, 3 or more parties can join into one big party, that is called as coalition government. And next part is opposition. Opposition in the parliament is formed by the political parties only, those who are not having the majority, that is the coalition is not formed. Those are, suppose we have one party, in this so many seats are there, another party is there, that also so many seats are there. Suppose we call it as A and this is B, and one more is only 2 seats and another one is only having 3 seats, C and D. Okay, so for the opposition party, for suppose to make A as a majority party, we can collide with any of the parties. These 2 parties can join in this party, and the other one, that B, will become the opposition party. Like that, the majority of the amongst all these parties will become the opposition party. So opposition party is very important because it will help in the healthy functioning of the democracy, and it will check the functioning of the government, and it will support the people's ideas and the implementation of their policies for the welfare of the people, and it will also highlight the drawbacks of the various policies and programs implemented by the government. Second function is to control, guide and inform the government. So a session of parliament first begins with a question hour. The first hour will be the question hour. So it is a very important mechanism which MPs can elicit information about the working of the government, and this is very important way through which parliament controls the executive by asking questions. The government also is alerted and also come to know about its shortcomings, and also comes to know about the opinions of the people, whether they have liked the policies or programs or not, and the representatives will be working in a proper manner or functioning in a proper manner or not in the parliament. So in this also the opposition party will play a critical role. It will highlight the drawbacks of the policies and programs, and it will make the government to run in a right track. The government always gets valuable feedback and is kept on its toe by questions asked by the MPs. So in all the matters dealing with the finance, the parliament approval is crucial for the government. The MPs as representatives of the people have the central role in controlling, guiding and informing the parliament. This is a key aspect of the functioning of the Indian democracy. Next, third functioning is lawmaking body. Actually, it is a fundamental function of the parliament, that is to make the laws, because the parliament is a body, is a legislative body which is a supreme lawmaking thing of our country. So people in the parliament, who can become a part of the parliament? The people from different backgrounds, they can be from rural areas or urban areas. Okay, they make their regional parties, and they may win the majority from their regional parties. They may be from the minority parties like Dalits or backward caste like SC, STs or minorities has also been participating in the parliament. So some seats are reserved in the parliament, some reservation is given to the parliament, that is from these constituencies only, elected constituencies, which will represent the interest of the Dalits and Adivasis. And it is also debated that women also should get the reservation. In 6 years, that is 6 years ago, this percentage of women reservation was only 4, but now it is increased to 9%. So 9% of MPs are women in the parliament. The parliament is a democratic country, can function well only when all the sections of people are represented equally